Okay, what I propose to do here is downfire this oil burner on this hot air furnace. It's got a spec of 1.5 gallon per hour, 168,000 BTU. It's currently firing at 1.25. It was probably installed that way. These things aren't usually nozzled to their max capacity. But I've had a lot of insulation work done to the house, and I also installed a mini split heat pump in my kind of coldest room. So I think it's time to downfire this thing to a 1 GPH. But before I do that, since I've never measured, I've never set up or tuned an oil burner, I want to just fire it up on the 1.25, let it warm up, get some heat into it, get steady state, and I'm going to check the performance of it with this Testo 310. And I actually somehow still have the manual for this beast. It's a Hallmark LB 168 lowboy. And the spec that I'm looking at is 10 to 12% CO2 with zero smoke. So I can measure all of that. I can measure CO. I can measure a whole bunch of other stuff. But this thing is tuned well. It's never that sooty. It's gone years between nozzle replacements before. It's tuned well. So this will be a good baseline. I'm curious to see. I have a feeling it'll spec out pretty well. But I'm going to get real good CO readings. I'm going to get the right CO2 reading, and so that'll be just me learning how to use the tool. Here's where I'm going to insert the probe. They want you to insert it between the outlet of the furnace and the barometric pressure damper, because I guess this can theoretically inlet oxygen and kind of screw up the readings upstream. Although I guess CO2 might be, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to do what they say. So I'm going to fire this thing up and let it warm up. And once it's running for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, I'll fire up the meter and see what it says. Unfortunately, it's kind of mild today, so the house is going to get a little warm. But it is what it is. Got to do it. All right, so here we go. All right, let that warm up. All right, the fan kicked on. I'm gonna just start by using my Fluke meter. I've got the adapter for temperature here. I've got a probe. This will do like 2,000 degrees or some ridiculous thing like that. So right now, ambient's at 68. We're gonna see what we get here. Fahrenheit, I believe. Whoops. It's not an instant read unit. This is more of the kind that's made for like gels or something. I probably should have got the air kind. Whoops. There you go. It works. It just takes a while. Go this way. I'll do it this way. Nope, gotta go this way. Nice, I have to hold it. I believe the sensor's in the tip, so it actually has to be put in kind of in the center of the gas flow. I think by the time this hits 450, 500, I'll probably be ready to try the other unit. I just don't want to keep doing tests until I'm really ready to stick it in there. Yeah, so we're at 385. I'll check it again in a few more minutes. Alright, coming out of the access hole here, we're up to 637. Kind of hanging out here. But it's up to like 450 up there. I could go back and check it, but still pretty good. Still climbing, but much slower, so I think I'm going to try putting the meter in and we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. So we're at 644 on the fluke. So that'll be a good comparison. Let's switch over to this guy here. So first we got to turn it on, and you're supposed to calibrate it right where the burner gets its air intake. So just doing this calibration. Alright, here we go. So we're 70 degrees. Set to number 2 fuel. Alright, we're going to stick it in. There it goes. And we're going to start the meter here. You see? Okay, so we're going to climb up to, what did I say, 640 something? So we're already on our way up to that. Gotta find the hottest part of the air here. Okay. We've got 0 CO. Let's scroll down and look for our CO2. There's our efficiency. Delta T. Or no, just ambient temperature. CO2. Look at that. Right where it's supposed to be, between 10 and 12. See? Stick it in farther. It's doing calculations in real time. Looks pretty good to me. Let's see what else we get. Yeah, look at that. Look at that CO. Very, very good burn here. Hard to complain about that. Efficiency 78. Now what you're going to get out of this, I think it's rated for 80, 81. I haven't cleaned it yet either. Yep. So this is cool. It's supposed to be between 10 and 12 again. It's on the high side. Pretty good. Yep, CO's up to 6. That's a very good reading. So this is a nice baseline. 6, 7. Now, out of curiosity, I'm going to go move it over to the other place after the barometric damper and see what the readings change to. Alright, here we are on the other side. Stick it in right here. get our temperature back. Is our T-stack? Oh, I gotta start it again. Let's see, I wanna make sure. It's gonna be, you're gonna hold it way up here. Okay, here we go. It's funny how the efficiency looks better when you're away from the, I don't know why that is. CO2 is down to 8.49, so yeah, it does get diluted. I tend to think it's much more accurate before the damper. But let's check our CO, which is 0. Yeah. So it's definitely a clean burn. I mean, even with a little bit of dilution from the barometric damper, this is a very good reading, in my opinion. 81% efficiency. There's that CO2 again, yeah. So that's definitely off from where it was. I would say I have to set it from the other location. Yeah, and this T-stack's pretty much what my fluke would be, and I can check that too, and I will. Now let's switch to the fluke. Where's my fluke? Here it is. This will take a minute to come to temp. Go. I think we're shooting for 440. It's a good stack temp over here. I don't know what it's supposed to be coming out of the unit. I would think higher, but this is going to take a few minutes to climb to its value. We're looking for, what did I say, 440? Yeah, it's coming up on it. So I think this is pretty accurate. Alright, well, my arms are getting tired. Let's go back and measure. We'll go back to the original location and measure again. Here we go again. CO still 0. Much higher over here at the stack temp 600. Efficiency is a little lower. Yeah, CO2 right where it was before. Very consistent reading. Very consistent. Now let me move this around. See how jacked up I can get it. Oh yeah, so if I stick it all the way in, the CO2 drops, so that's no good. pretty consistent there. Kind of have it in the middle of the stream, if that makes sense. So yeah, so if I push this all the way in to the bottom, watch the CO2. Actually, it isn't really moving. That's interesting. Huh. That was pretty stable. Stable's good. CO is 0. No carbon monoxide. That's funny. Efficiency. How about EXA? This is pretty good though. Now let's stop that. Go over here. Just CO. It's interesting. So it has just CO detection. Let's stop that. Go over here. Start this. Which is oh, that's, I'm not measuring that right now. That's pressure. Oh. So I can change the upper display with the up button. So I can say, give me, oh, there's the O2 again. Interesting. CO. Alright, there's my oxygen. Back to my oxygen. There's oxygen, and on the bottom, I can do CO2. Okay. Are these good numbers? Don't know, but this helps me get a baseline. I mean, it's right in range. Theoretically, it could, CO2 could drop a little bit, which I think actually means richening it up. Which means when I put the smaller nozzle in here, I'm definitely going to have to close that air band down, which is fine. Cool. There's my CO. Yeah, 11. 77% efficient. CO2 stack. CO. What's the difference between those two COs? You got 13 and 2. I wonder what the difference is. Is one of them at the probe and one of them's at the meter? Maybe? I guess I could go read the manual again. I think that's at the probe. So take this out. What happens? It goes up. Doesn't really make any sense. And it should drop again. Pull the meter out. I mean the probe. Yeah, I think these are considered good numbers. Now, okay, so what is the difference here? Is this like a delta? I might have to look at the manual. At least I'm recording what I'm doing here so I can look at it later. We have 3 CO values? Yeah. So there's 2, 3, and then 4. Don't know. Well, in any event, I don't have 2 CO2 numbers, right? No. So O2 is 5.0% and then CO2 is just under 12. I think that's pretty solid. It's a good baseline. I do think when I downfire this to the 1 GPH nozzle, I'm going to have to close the air band down. Unless I have that backwards.
We'll find out.
All right, so here are the figures, some of the figures I was seeing. So I have it set to number 1 region, USA. This one here. Had it set to USA and then number 2 fuel. So my options on line 1 were oxygen, T-stack, ambient CO, some pressures, and then undiluted CO. Line 2 was just CO, efficiency, I think ambient temperature, excess oxygen, and CO2. So the next page kind of goes on to explain those. So again, there's your ambient temperature. What that icon is a little picture of a house. So it's like house temp, ambient temp, versus flue gas temp. Now I don't know if the ambient temp was set once at the beginning during calibration, or if it's continuous. Not sure. I could experiment, but carbon monoxide, in the flue oxygen in the percentage, ambient carbon monoxide. So again, that's different. So that's what that little house symbol is. Some of these don't appear in the USA stuff. That doesn't. Overall efficiency does. Carbon dioxide does. Carbon monoxide undiluted. Not sure what that is. Not sure that I need that value to do anything. And then excess air. So the only thing I can really do is just go back and look and see if I can figure out, because I have a carbon dioxide spec of 10 to 12. What I don't have is I need to get my bearings on oxygen and excess air just to fully round my kind of rich lean tuning situation on the airband here. When I get to that, maybe tomorrow when I get a nozzle. So just want to make sure I'm fully up to date on my stoichiometric kind of theory here before so I can use all the values, not just CO2.